Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about, Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking, yes we are. No, alright, no, you're out of here. You want to get in the basket? Don't scratch it because it will make lots of noise. Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about all the graphic novels I read in January. Now, as you may know, I have a Goodreads goal of about 300 books. Now, the only way I'm going to do that is audiobooks, short reads, kids' books, poetry, and graphic novels. And I thought, well, I'll do a little thing every month where I pick a particular short format and just binge that. And then I'll do like a mini wrap up after my potluck pick wrap up, so that I can talk to you about all these things and they'll all be like a little bit different, and it just mixes up my wrap ups a little bit. Because I do enjoy filming wrap ups. I know I made like they're all boring, but like I feel like unless it's like a specific review, wrap ups can be unnecessarily vague. So I thought, well, I'll whatever this is, I will focus in on one format or one type of book, and I will do that. So yeah, we're going to talk about, oh god, they're so heavy. I'm going to talk about all of these. Now, I have tried to film this before and all of my footage got corrupted. If I seem more succinct than usual, or if I seem more agitated than usual, it is definitely because of that, and nothing to do with these graphic novels at all. I actually really enjoyed these graphic novels, and I will definitely be continuing a few of these series, if not having continued these series, because one of them I only read one in January and I read the other 3 in Feb. So we'll just get into it and you'll see. So the first one I want to talk about is the Sad Ghosts Club. Now, this was gifted to me by Hachette. Cerys from Library of Cerys very kindly put me forward to be part of their blog tour. I really enjoyed being part of that blog tour. And essentially this is a graphic novel all about social anxiety and depression and how isolated we can feel surrounded by other people. I thought it was really charming, really poignant. I actually have written a blog about how it uses the ghost metaphor within this narrative, so I will put that below. I don't want to spend too much more time on it, just because I have so many more to talk about, but I really like this. If you like delicates, then I think you'll really like this, but I just want to preface, like, because it was the first one that came to my mind graphic novel wise, that also talks about social isolation, but the ghosts are actually ghosts in that, whereas in this one they just feel like ghosts. And I really liked the epilogue of this, where it kind of looks at how even if they're not necessarily directly in your path, you can affect someone else and how they feel just by reaching out. So I really liked that. And the Sad Ghost Club is a real ghost club, I think. I think it's a real social anxiety forum for people to go and talk about how they're feeling a certain way. So I really liked this. I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe 4.5. Like I said, it was really cute, and thank you again, Hachette, for including me. I'm really glad I got to have a read of this before everyone else did. Like, it was great. Let's talk about Han Solo. Now, I really enjoyed this. I did only give it 3 stars, but I enjoyed it because it was so much better than the Star Wars Han Solo film, which is a train wreck. I appreciate that that might not be everyone's opinion. That's fine. My opinion is that the Han Solo film was a train wreck. So what I liked about this is it's between 4 and 5. So Han Solo has obviously shown that he can be a good man, but he is still a rogue. He still doesn't have everyone's trust. He certainly doesn't have Leia's trust. They certainly haven't smooched yet, because obviously that comes later, spoiler alert. But there's a lot of yearning in this, and I thought actually as a little side quest it was quite entertaining. I'm not going to go too much into the story of it because I don't want to spoil it, but essentially he is involved in essentially a drag race. And again, I thought that was done so much better than the Han Solo film. I just thought it was a really cute little graphic novel. It was a story that I was familiar with because it's part of a massive franchise. It was quite tropey, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. So that's the next one. I read 6 and 7 of Saga. Oh shit. Just punched myself in the face with my own graphic novel there. I only have 8 and 9 left, and then I think 10 is coming out in the next couple of years, so that's gonna break my heart again. 6 was okay. I enjoyed 6. I liked the prison break element of it. I thought that was really fun. But 7, hello, darkness, my old friend. If you know what happens in 7, you can understand why I just stared at the ceiling for 20 minutes trying to recollect my thoughts and feelings because they were all over the floor in tiny pieces. So I really enjoyed this. I like the space opera-ness of it. I like that it follows multiple perspectives, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. The artwork is stunning if gruesome at times. I like that even the awful characters they're not fully redeemed. They are still awful, but there is a true grey morality there that I really, really enjoy. It's quite a dark graphic novel, but I quite like that. And I found that although I'm not a massive fan of sci-fi, I will watch sci-fi films, and I do enjoy sci-fi graphic novels. It seems to just be sci-fi novels that I have an issue with. So if you have any other sci-fi graphic novels that are similar to Saga that you would recommend me, please comment them down below, because I need something like this for when this is over. Gonna need it. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed those two. I gave 6 4 stars and I gave 7 5 stars, because if you can make me weep, you get 5 stars. That's how that works. I got Misfit City 2 because I read Misfit City 1 when I stole it from JD Ray Reads TBR for the Magical Readathon last year. Really, really enjoyed the first one. I felt like it set up some really great premises. 2 fell completely flat for me. Just didn't enjoy it as much. It kind of rushed through the narrative as far as I'm concerned, and I appreciate that obviously a volume is made up of lots of little graphic novels, and I feel like each chapter, if I'd read them like a week apart, maybe I wouldn't have rushed through them as much. But I just felt like the pacing of this was just all over the place. I just didn't enjoy it as much. It didn't have those adventure vibes that the first one did for me. So I rated it 3 stars and it nearly got 2 stars. I think it's only because I love the characters that redeemed it for me. I just felt overall it was just really mediocre, and that's a real shame because I was really looking forward to just working my way through this series as well, but I just didn't care for it. So we'll be unhauling 1 and 2 because there's no point keeping a graphic novel that I'm not going to reread over and over and over again on my shelves, because they are, you know, they're A4. They take up a lot of shelf space. I like the Goonies references, and like I said, I really like the characters, but the characters were the only thing that redeemed this for me. It just wasn't fun to read. It's kind of boring. Similarly to I love the characters but I felt the pacing was all over the place was Lumberjanes. This was gifted to me by Carolyn, and Carolyn is starting to get really worried because the last 2 books that she's gifted me I've either DNF'd or really not enjoyed. I did enjoy this one. I felt like it had very similar issues to Misfit City, and they are actually by the same production company, so that makes sense. But I just, again, I really, really like the characters. I really, really like the premise, but the plot for me, the plot structure and the pacing just lacked something for me, and it just kind of raced through everything. Every little chapter is a little module where something happens, and it doesn't really give you enough time to bed into the mystery element of it. And I know that graphic novels can do that because I've read them before, and I'm reading a middle grade at the moment that actually is very, very good at being like, no, wait, you can have this part of it, like this element of the mystery, but we're going to come back to it, kind of thing. Whereas I feel like they're just layering up a really tall cake that is just going to collapse. So I don't know if I'm going to continue with this series. I probably will, just to see if it's any better than Misfit City. But again, it got 3 stars. Sorry, Carolyn. So that's 2.5 though. That's 2.5 that you've gifted me that I've loved, and then 2.5 that I've hated. You're playing an odds game here, so. But yeah, no, it was good. So no, I will read the next one just to see. Anyway, thanks again, Carolyn. I read volume 1 and 2 of Buffy, and Buffy volume 1 was flawless. It took everything that I loved about the 90s show and then just added these little things to it that just made it even more special. The fact that Willow is not just the dork and the lowest of the food chain. There's actually like a really nice equality between her and Cordelia. I really appreciated that. The fact that also Willow is a lesbian right from the start, loved that. Her girlfriend did not get nearly enough screen time in either of these graphic novels, which was a crime, but other than that I really, really liked that. I liked that Xander is still Xander in his toxicness, but it's from a better place than it was in the TV series. In the TV series, he was constantly trying to prove himself because he wanted Buffy, as opposed to in this where, and like felt that he deserved Buffy as well, which always bothered me. Whereas in this, he's trying to prove himself because he knows it's the right thing to do, and he wants Buffy, but that actually plays into the storyline in a far more interesting way. I liked that Drusilla is the bad gal. She's the mistress in this. I didn't like the dynamic change between her and Spike because I liked them as a couple. I liked the fact that he was completely devoted to her and she was a little bit crazy, and that she then had those they didn't manipulate each other, whereas I feel like she manipulates him in this, and that was kind of my only flaw. The way they have drawn Spike though, that jawline. So loved that. Was disappointed that Angel didn't turn up until volume 2, and even then it's only sparingly. Giles is spot on. Like, it's absolutely spot on. But I really, really like that. And Cordelia is an eco-warrior princess as well as prom queen and valedictorian and stuff like that. So I like the fact that she's not played as a ditz. These versions, even though this is technically a Joss Whedon as well, but I assume he's not actually written anything because it doesn't feel like a Joss Whedon. I really liked that the women had the power in this, and it's kind of, yeah, I thought that was really, really clever. There are mystery elements to it which I really appreciated, but again, you see from the bad guy's perspective, so it's not a total mystery. It's very much a Scooby Gang mystery, and I appreciated that. But the artwork in volume 2 completely changes. I don't know if it's just that they took on a different artist or whatever, but the eyes in it went from being like, okay, so I'm just gonna see if I can show you. The artwork in the first one, again, not entirely sure if you can see this, but the artwork in the first one feels really realistic, especially when it comes to the characters and who they're trying to portray. It just feels right. But volume 2, what's up with the eyes? What's going on there? Why does everyone look so fucking creepy? It really threw me off, and it completely took me out of the graphic novel as well, so I was really disappointed with that. The mystery fell flat again for me. I just didn't enjoy the second one as much as I enjoyed the first one, but I really, really enjoyed the first one, so I will be continuing this series. It just... ugh, it was just something ick about it, and I didn't like the narrative. It's when they really get into the whole Spike being manipulated by Drusilla. I really didn't like that. I really didn't like the way Willow kind of takes everything upon herself, and Buffy is far more of an introspective character and doesn't really do anything and is just kind of left by herself. Didn't really like that either, and it just, I don't know, there's just something about the second one that just didn't hit the same way the first one did. The first one was absolutely flawless, and the second one was pants. And I don't know if it's just because I read them one after the other, so I was still caught in the hype of the first one, but it is what it is. So we'll be continuing this series, but was really disappointed with the sequel. Monstrous was gifted to me by Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe. The artwork, stunning. Hands down, best artwork out of all of these. Very dark, very spooky. Again, I feel like this was a weird one because the pacing of the first volume, like the first bit, or first chapter I guess, was really bizarre. They say in writing that you should throw your characters out of an airplane and then explain how they got into the airplane. I get that. The problem this had is it did that. It threw the characters out of the metaphorical airplane and then kind of explained to you why they were in the airplane, except they didn't really explain to you why they were in the airplane at all, because they were too busy trying to open the parachute and they were too focused on everything else, and there was just way too much going on in those opening chapters. It kind of mellowed out a little bit towards the end and it made a bit more sense, and I get that it is trying to confuse you. Who do you trust, who do you not trust? But I don't even know how certain characters feel about other characters that they are going along with. It was really, really confusing. So I am going to try and read it again and see if maybe I just rushed through it. And I am going to continue the series. It just really threw me. It wasn't what I was expecting at all, narratively, with the characters or anything. Did still really enjoy it. Like I said, the artwork is stunning. So thank you, Olivia, for completely confusing me on this one. My ear is ringing. Ow. 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 That was horrible. That was really weird as well. Didn't enjoy that. Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Olivia, for gifting this to me and intriguing me with a new graphic novel series that I need to work my way through. And finally, can we just have a shout out for Cerys from LibraryofCerys, who not only nominated me for a blog tour, but also introduced me to my favourite graphic novel series of 2021, if not ever. Well, let's talk about Fence. Let's talk about this charming little graphic novel full of hilarious teenage boys who are at a private school learning to fence and fighting their way through championships, etc. I loved it. I love every individual character. I love the banter between them. I love the coach and how ruthless she is. She reminds me of every rugby coach I've ever had. I just love this. This is flawless. The pacing is perfect. The characters are hilarious. Even when the art style changes a little bit in the fourth one, didn't mind it. Thought it was great. And I think even like the subtle romantic elements between them, because obviously it very much feels like a rivals to lovers. They haven't reached the lovers bit yet. It's just tension at the moment. We love that. It was just really wholesome and really sweet, and I binged the whole thing. I bought obviously I got gifted the first one by Cerys, then I bought the next 3, I read them all in an afternoon, and I'm really glad this is the only like silver lining to finishing my, to trying to edit that video and finding how corrupted the footage was that I was then able to reread the next 3 and include them in my little wrap up, because they're great. And if you're like, oh, I don't know if I like graphic novels, this is the one that I'm going to be recommending to everyone, whether you like graphic novels or not. It was so cute! So yes, I read all of those for the Queen No Fear readathon, which was just a weekender. I'm a very slow reader. There's all kinds of representation in this. I think it's great. I think it's great. So I don't think a single one of these got less than a 4 stars. They were all 4 to 5 stars for me. My precious little boys. I think they're great. It's so cute. So yes. Good work, Cerys. Thank you very much. So yeah, that is it. That is all of the graphic novels that I read in January/Feb. There's only like 3 that are from Feb. My wrist is losing its feeling now, so I'm going to put those down again. But yeah, let me know what graphic novels you've read that you absolutely loved. Don't forget to put in the comments down below any that are similar to Saga, because I am going to need something to replace that once it's finished. Just keep me in the loop. And other than that, I hope you have a nice day.